recording. So for our bell ringer, someone tell me what they got for the first answer. Ian. You're muted, Ian. I can't hear you.
I got 8.5.
8.5. All right, so I'm going to write it over here. And we're going to see, let's see. So we got 7 times 5, which is 35. And then 5 times 1, which is just 5, plus 3 is 8. I have only one decimal, so my decimal goes between the 8 and the 5. Did everyone get 8.5?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, Antonio, since you had your hand raised, go ahead and tell me what you got for number 2. Antonio, what did you get for number 2?
19.2.
So Antonio got 19.2. Let's see. We have 8 times 4, which is 32. So I put my 2 down there, carry my 3. And then 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 3 gives me 19. I have one decimal, so it falls in between the 9 and the 2. Yes? So what we got?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, and who wants to go ahead and answer number 3? Rick, what'd you get?
1.190.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. So we have 5 times 8, which is 40. So I put my 0 down there, carry my 4. 9 times 5, which is 45, plus that 4, which gives me 49. So I have to carry that 4 over again. 5 times 1 is just 5, plus 4 is 9. And then 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 0 is just 0 again. I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to add in my 0. And then 7 times 8, which is 56. I'm going to carry, oh, not that one. Carry my 5 over there. 9 times 7 is 63. Plus 5 is going to give me 68. So I'm going to put my 8 down here and carry my 6. 7 times 1 is just 7. Plus 6, which is going to give me 13. Write my 3 there, carry my 1. 7 times 0 is 0. Plus that 1. And then once again, 7 times 0 is just 0. I'm going to add it all together. That's going to give me 0. 9 plus 6 is going to be 15. Carry my 1. Now I'm going to do 1 plus 9, which is just 10, and then 10 plus 8, which is 18. Carry my 1. 3 plus 1 is 4. Have that 1 there, and the 0, I'll put it in. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 decimal points. So I'm going to go from back here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So which answer do we get? Rick, do we see what happened? Okay, so we got to remember it's 2, so we got to do both of them. Did everyone get this answer here?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the last problem in our bell ringer, for those of you guys that came a little late, I do have these recordings, so you can watch the bell ringer a little later, but at least you're here for the main lesson. All right. So the last one, and let me just fix my attendance. Okay. So for the last one, it says use the product of 123 times 47 to find the product of 123 times 0.47. Okay, so it's telling me use the product of this one. So I'm going to solve for this first. I'm going to do 7 times 3, which is 21. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 2 more is 16. Carry my 1 again. And then 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 1 is 8. Now I'm going to add in my 0 so I can do the 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And then 4 times 1 is just 4. So now I'm going to add it all up. And that's going to give me 1 plus 0 is 1. 6 plus 2 equals 8. 9 plus 8 is 17. And I carry my 1 and I get what? So I have 5,781. Did we get that far? Now, what would I need to do in order to get the 123 times 0.47? Anyone else? Anyone but, all right, Ian, what is it?
You have to put a decimal number on the middle.
Where? Between what numbers?
8 and 6.
8 and 6? There's no 6 there.
Wait, no, 7 and 8.
Between 7 and 8. So when I put my decimal point here, that's going to give me this answer. Why? Because this one is the same numbers, only it has 2 decimal places, meaning I have to move my decimal that many times. Okay, so let's say you were solving a problem and you forgot what you had to do with your decimals for a moment. Don't just sit there and stare at the problem for 20 minutes. Do the regular multiplication. Do whatever number. Do like the first example, do 17 times 5. And then maybe by that time you remember where you're supposed to put your decimal place. Okay? But you can do that. You can just solve the regular whole numbers and then put it in afterwards. That's kind of what we do already, right? We don't pay any attention to the decimal point. We do our multiplication, and at the end we add our decimal. Okay? Any questions on these 4? All right. One more thing I want to add. If you guys are raising your hands, you do need to, I would click the button, the raise hand button that you guys have, because I can only see 4 people in my, on my screen. I can't see everyone at the same time, so I don't know if you are raising your hand and you're just on a different
I
set
don't
of.
have that button.
You guys should have a raise hand button. It should be on the bottom where you have like the thumbs up and stuff like that.
I have it. Raise hand button.
Yeah, so it's like a little hand and then you click it and then I can see it in the above the chat. You don't. You guys don't have the raise hand button?
No, I don't have it.
I don't have it.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. I hear Carlos.
You have to press the button in the box that says raise hand. Yes, go.
Carlos, type it in the chat because your microphone is acting up. I don't know what you're saying. Okay. So we'll try and figure that out later, but let's go ahead and get started with the lesson. One thing I want to add is, again, today we are not doing breakout sessions, but we are doing a quizzes activity. Okay, so once we finish with these 4 examples, we'll sign up for quizzes, and then you guys are actually, I'm going to do announcements. You're going to sign up for quizzes, and then that's going to be the end of the lesson today.
Wait,
So,
what about the other Kahoot that you said?
what do you mean? Yeah, it's like a Kahoot
Oh,
that we're doing.
wait. I think I remember it. Okay, let's just go.
What's a Kahoot?
It's like a quiz. Okay, it seems like someone else has the slow microphone talking.
Miss,
Yes.
and number 1 is the
Is the zero outside or like inside the
This one?
number one? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually going to do that one. And what I'm going to suggest is I like to have my larger number. So in this case, it has the 3 places on the top of the problem. So I'm going to just go ahead and switch them. Am I able to do this? Like, am I allowed? Yes, right? Because it's multiplication, so my order doesn't really matter. So I'm switching them both, and then I'm going to do my regular multiplication, and I am going to include that 0. Okay, so I'm going to do 6 times 5, which that one should be easy enough, and I'm going to do a different color. We'll do blue. 6 times 5, which is 30. 6 times 0 is just 0, plus that 3, so 3. And then again, 6 times 0 is 0. Now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to put my 0 at the bottom. And I'm going to do 5 times 3, which is 15. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1. And again, 3 times 0 is 0. So I'm going to add them up at the bottom. 0, 5 plus 3 is 8. 0 plus 1 is 1. And then we have that 0 there. Now, remember the hint that I gave you guys was count all your decimal places in the problem. So before we only had 1. In this case, we have 2 sets of decimals. So I have to count 1. That's too big. 1, 2, 3. I now have 3 decimal places. So between which numbers am I going to put my decimal? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Between which numbers am I going to put my decimal place? Okay. All right. So remember, my decimal point starts at the end, and I need to move it 3 spots. So
Between the 0 and the 1.
yes, between the 0 and the 1. Ashley, was that you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect answer. So I go 1, 2, and 3. So my answer is 0.18 or 0 and 18 hundredths.
Miss,
Yes.
do we always need to put the 0 or we don't need it?
So you can put which 0? Like in the answer
first.
here?
Yeah, where yeah, that one.
So you can. That answer is the same as that. But then you have to remember to put your decimal point like big enough so that I can see that it's 0.18 and not just 18. Okay. The 0 makes it a little bit easier because I know you shouldn't be starting a number with 0, right? So I see it a little bit easier. But if you're going to write that, you do need to make sure that you can see the decimal, okay? So you don't have to, but it is convenient to have. All right, so the next one, same stuff. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 1, 2 again. And 2 times 0 is 0. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the 7. So 7 times 2 is 14. So I put my 4 down, carry the 1. 7 times 1 is 1, plus that 1 is going to be 8. 7 times 1 is 7, and then 7 times 0. I add them all up, that's going to be 8. 8 plus 2 is 10, so I carry my 1. 2 plus 7 is 9, plus 1 more is going to give me that 10. Okay, now, am I done? I have to do my last part, the decimal, right? So let me count how many decimal places I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take my decimal that's back here. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to put in that 0 so you guys see it a little easier. Is that correct? Why not, Rick?
Miss,
Because there's only three steps.
Okay. Ashley, what were you going to say?
I wanted to say yes and I wanted to say no. But I was gonna say no because you didn't add the 0 when you're gonna add it.
I did not put that 0, right? You're talking about this 0 over here?
Yeah.
I did not. So I did skip a step like Rick said. And Ashley went ahead and specified what step it was that I missed. So I did not write the 0. You guys haven't caught on. I always do this at least once, right? So 7 times 2, it's going to be that 14. I carry that 1. It's going to be the same thing, 8, 7, 0. Now when I add it, that's going to be 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 8 plus 2 is still 10. I'm going to carry that 1. And now 7 plus 1 is 8. We see how totally different that answer is? So that 1 is very important. Now, where is my decimal point going to go? Go ahead and put in.
Oh.
Go ahead and put it in the chat first, and then you can answer after, Ashley. So when you write it in the chat, I know that there's 2 zeros. So if you say 0, 8, if you are going to write in the chat between 0 and 8, you are talking about this one. If you say between 8 and 0, you are talking about this one. Or you can write out exactly what it'll be like. I can see Catherine did. You guys are only messaging me, which I prefer because since you're messaging answers, it's better. All right, Ashley, where is it gonna go?
Between the 0 and the 8.
Between the 0 and the 8. So that means it's this one, right? I start back here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes? So you see, we gotta remember, we gotta count all of the decimal places in both the top and the bottom of the problem, and then move the decimal over. Okay? Now the last one. 7 times 4 is 28. Well, the last one of this first row. We still have the fourth one. So 28. 6 times 4 is 24, plus that 2 is 26. 4 times 0 is just 0, plus that 2, so 2, and then 0 again. I'm going to put my 0 at the bottom, and I'm going to change colors. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 6 is 6, and then my 2 zeros. So this one was a little easier, right, because I had that 1. And now I just add them up. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 7 is going to be 13, so I write the 3 down, carry the 1. And then 6 plus 2, which is 8, plus 1 more is 9. And then 0 and 0. Now, how many decimal places do I have in this problem? Rick, I think you showed me 4, right? So I have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to take my decimal. That's back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is my final answer. Any questions on these three? No? We're good? We got to make sure that we're counting our decimal places and then moving the decimal over. Okay? Now the last one. So it is a word problem, so I'm going to get my highlighter ready. It says a car can travel 28.45 miles with 1 gallon of gas. The gasoline tank can hold 11.5 gallons. How many miles can the car travel on a full tank? So is this addition, multiplication, division, or subtraction? Yes, Ian.
Multiplication.
It is multiplication, right? We're kind of doing multiplying, so we don't have to do any subtraction or anything like that. But it is important to note that they say how many miles, okay? Now, remember I told you guys when it came to subtraction, it might have that how, but it's going to actually be how much more, how many more. This one is not saying how many more miles, it's saying how many miles. So it's looking for a total answer. So what are the numbers we're going to multiply?
28.45 times 11.5.
Yeah, right, 28.45 times 11.5. So I don't have a lot of room, so I went ahead and rewrote it on a separate little slide, and we're going to go ahead and solve it. Same steps that we've been doing, nothing has changed. So 5 times 5, 25. 5 times 4 is going to be what? Yes, Rick.
22.
So it's going to be 20 plus that 2, which is going to give me that 22. Awesome job. I'm going to carry my 2 over again. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 2. So 42, but I'm going to have to carry that over. And then 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4, 14. Now I'm going to switch over my color. I'm going to put in my 0 at the bottom. And this one is easy, right? Because it's just 1. So literally everything that's up on the top is going to come right down. So it's going to be 5, 4, 8, 2. Now what do I do for my last number? Right, I still have 1 more to go. But I have only done like double digits by double digits. So what do I do for 3? Let me see if anyone else is raising their hand. What do I do before I multiply that third number?
You had to add another 0 on the bottom.
So like here,
Yes.
and that's it. Now I
No,
can start.
2 zeros.
So good job, Ashley and Ian. So you do have to put zeros, but you have to put two zeros. So every time you go down, you have to add another 0, right? So is this color too light, or do you want me to use a different color? Let me see. So I'll use this. This should be better. So I'm going to put my 2 zeros, and once again, it's just a 1. So everything is going to stay the same. So 5, 4, 8, 2. Now I'm going to add it all up. So I have 5 plus zeros, which is just 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Now I have 2 plus 4 plus 5. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And then 6 plus 5 is going to give me 11. I'm going to carry that 1 over. Now, I can do, what I would suggest is 4 plus 4, which is 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, plus 1 more is 17. So when it comes to adding up so many numbers, my advice to you is find something that you can do a little bit easier, right? 8 plus 8, we should all know is 16. So rather than doing 8 plus 4, which you might have to use your fingers to count, you can just add 4 plus 4, which is much easier to do, and we should know it, and then add that to that 8. Remember, it is addition, so your order doesn't matter as long as you're adding up all those numbers. So we had, what, 17? So I had to carry my 1 over. Now again, I think 8 plus 2 is easier. That's going to give me 10. And then 10 plus 1 is 11, and 11 plus 1 is 12. Okay, and then 2 plus 1 is 3. So how many decimal places am I moving it?
3 times.
So it is 3. Rick, is that what you were going to say? Yeah, so 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go ahead and let's pick a different color. 1, 2, 3. So the car can travel 327.175 miles on a full tank of gas. Are there any questions on this one? No? All right, so the few announcements I had. This week, you guys, your homework assignment is going to be through Khan Academy. I'm going to set up some instructions for you guys to join Khan Academy. You can access it through your student portal. I will give you the class code for you to join your class. The lessons I'm assigning for today, it's only 3 lessons, so it's nothing too much. It's like a 5-minute video and 14 problems, okay? You guys complete that, and that's it. You don't have to turn anything into me today or this week because we're only doing Khan Academy. As for Iready, we were asking about Iready today. We start, excuse me, we start Iready next week. So this week you guys should be doing your Iready in your reading or English class. And then next week is your math. Okay, so we'll work out something. I don't know if I'm gonna have you guys join on specific days or how that's gonna work, but we are not gonna be learning any new material. I'm just gonna be watching you, okay? Watching you guys take your Iready test. So that is next week. As for turning in homework, now I know this week we have Khan Academies, so you're not gonna have to worry about that, but I am giving you 3 options for turning in your homework. The first one is the Dropbox. So I will put links for you guys to use the Dropbox website. You don't have to create a Dropbox account. You just click the link, find your file on your computer and put it into the Dropbox, okay? You can either attach it, or if you have it open in like your file explorer, drag it over, or if it's on the desktop, drag it into the screen and it will upload that way. The second way is through Teams. I don't know how you do it through Teams. I don't see it that way. So I'm not sure what you have to click. Maybe if you just click on the assignment, it'll push you over to a thing that'll let you submit it. You can submit it that way. You can take a picture and submit it through Teams. I don't know how you guys do that, but I do know how to see the work. So if you submit it through Teams, I will find it. And the last option is an email. So you can take a picture of it, attach it to an email, and send it over to me. I will see it. You will get your grade. Everything is marked with a
I have
time.
a question.
Yes.
Where do we do the questions again? In the journal or online computer?
Which questions?
You said that there was 14 questions in the Khan
So-
Academy.
So the Khan Academy is online. It's a website. So you just go ahead and you solve the problems on the website and you put it in, and then I'll see the scores later.
Oh,
Okay. Justin, I see you have your hand raised.
It was for earlier's thing question.
Oh, so you see there is a hand raise. Where'd you find the hand raising button?
It was participants, and then it said raise hand, yes, no, go slower, go faster, and there's more.
Okay, so if you guys go to participants, when you click on participants at the bottom of your main window, and there Antonio press the raise hand button. Did you have a question or you're just testing it out?
I have a question.
Okay, Antonio?
Did you see the email that I sent you about the 8 math habits?
I think so. I'll have to double check. Don't worry about if you guys send me the work and I didn't put it in the grade book that day, do not worry. Everything has a timestamp. So I will see that you turned it in on time. Okay, don't worry about not having it in on time. Okay, I'll have to double check to make sure, see if I can find it there. Okay, so Antonio, is your question answered?
Yeah.
I'll have to double check. I think I did, but I'll have to double check. And then when you guys are done answering your question, you just click the raise hand button again and it'll lower your hand if you don't have any more questions. Okay. I hope I don't say the name wrong. Nyala? How do I say your name? I can't hear anything if you're talking. Justin, you don't have a question or you do because your hand is still raised?
No.
Okay. So now we should all know how to use the raise hand. So now next time we can do that so I can get a little bit more participation. So with that being said, are there any other questions?
No.
No?
No.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share the other screen so that way you guys can join the quizzes. And I'm actually going to stop the recording.